Dyer's Daily. There was a period in 2009 after I moved 200 miles away from Endeavour that I felt maybe radio had come to an end for me because the new area that I had moved to didn't appear to have a community radio station that you could volunteer for, only big commercial things that had been there for a long time. And thus, I hadn't studied the subject of radio, and I wasn't studying anything like that, really only media, which didn't include radio in it, in the most part. And so a lot of radio stations in that area that were commercial would not let me in under any capacity. Sadly, a lot of those radio stations don't exist anymore. They've been taken over by much bigger companies and nationalized in a way, big national brands now. So I thought it was over. That was it. And then someone introduced me to online radio. And the hilarious thing was, I'd been a little bit disparaging of online radio only sort of 6 months to a year before. And so I set up a studio because I really wanted to do it. And I started broadcasting on a couple of stations. Now, this is where a relatively funny story comes in because it's all new, but it shows you that online radio hadn't quite caught up with its FM and DAB counterparts, because the system was you connected from your house and there were two slots that you could go into. One was on air, one was off, which you could switch it to, right? So the active source was in one, and then you had you in the other, so you switched it. But what happened was, one day there was me in one slot and another guy in another, and I had started doing a show, and then about 20 minutes in it cut out and started playing Love Is in the Air, and it was this guy called David, and thought, what's happening here? And it turned out he was in the other slot online. It's a very tricky system, trying to broadcast a show because there was no scheduler or anything. You just connected and did it. So that is a sense that online radio hadn't quite caught up. But no fear, over the next sort of 5 years, it would improve tenfold in many ways, much more organized than it was in 2010.
Dyer's Daily.